Thanks for joining us today here on Backwoods Pursuit. Today we're going to look at the First Lite layering system, or the First Lite Base Layers that they offer here, and we're going to be looking just at the tops here today. We're going to look at the First Lite Wick 150, look at the First Lite Kiln, this is the 250, the First Lite Klamath, this is their fleece, the grid fleece, and then also the First Lite Furnace, and this is the quarter zip. So we're going to look at each of those, as well as the fuse. I don't have the fuse with me, but that's their 200 weight. We're going to look at each of these, how they fit, the sizing on these, as well as some of the best uses that I've found when I'm out in the field in the different seasons, from early archery season to later in our late season rifle hunts here in Idaho. So stick around as we do that. We sure would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button for us as well. It means a lot when you follow us along there. And follow us on our Facebook and Instagram accounts, Backwoods Pursuit, and check out our website, backwoodspursuit.com, for other gear reviews. Let's get started. Alright, so here we have the Wick 150 Ultralight. As you can see, it's designed here to vent very well on the armpits. There's some extra ventilation there, and it's really a lightweight piece for your warmer weather. You do have the thumb loops here on both of these, and the arms are cut a little bit extra long because of those thumb loops. It's designed really to give you enough length there if you like to use those. I personally don't, so I only use those if I'm going to be layering, and because of that, there's a little extra length here in the arm on both sides. It's not a big deal, but it can tend to bunch up a little bit down on the cuff if you aren't using that, but it's really minimal and the fit's really pretty good. So this is the Wick 150, and these are all designed, the base layers are designed to be layered one on top of the other, so the sizing is cut accordingly. So next up in the weight is the fuse, which I don't actually have a fuse with me. It's the 200 weight, and that's 200 grams per square inch of material. So depending on what size you have is going to depend the weight. But I'll put the weights down in the text here of each of these pieces in a size large, so you can determine which one's going to fit best for you. So one of the things I like to consider when I'm deciding if I want to go with, like this one is the Wick Crew. I've also got the Wick Hoodie. I do like the hoods, but in a situation where if you're knowing that the temps are going to get warmer during the day, I like to have the hoodie to be able to give you some sun protection and that sort of thing. If you know that you're going to be down to your first your base layer throughout the course of the day at some point, then I like to wear the hoodie. If I know it's going to be colder out and I'm not going to get down past probably my second layer, which is the Kiln, typically is what I'll use for that, or the Klamath, then I like to go with the Crew because I don't like the extra material in the hood. So this next one here is the Kiln, and this is the Kiln Hoodie. This again is the 250 weight, 250 grams per square inch of material, and this again is the size large in the hoodie, and so it is again designed to be layered. Again, use the thumb loops. Those are very helpful when you're putting these on the wool layers. They do tend to stick to each other, so it can make those arms run up on you if you're not using the thumb loops. So get those all put in there, and again, the fit is really good on these. Now with the Kiln here, they do have a little bit of spandex. This is Merino X. This is new for 2018 is when they put the Merino X in here. And basically that's 5% spandex, 95% merino wool. So this one has the quarter zip, of course, and you've got a nice hood that's articulating, and it's really a comfortable hood. It doesn't block your view when you're using it that way. It's a warmer piece. It's one of my go-to pieces outside of course, the base layer. It's one that I wear and almost always have with me, or I'm wearing it. You do have the quarter zip, and you have a little pocket here for calls or that sort of thing. That's useful if you like those kind of things. So it fits really good. Again, consistent across the board, which again was a problem in some of the earlier First Lites prior to 2018, but they've really gotten a lot better with that. Again, just like the Wick there, there's a little bit of extra length here in the cuff because of being able to use those thumb loops here for additional layering. Not a big deal, but something to consider or be aware of. So next up, let's look at the Klamath Hoodie, and that's the grid fleece. So next up we've got the Klamath Hoodie grid fleece. This comes in the Klamath Hoodie and the Klamath quarter zip, so if you don't like a hood you can go that route. I do like a hood in this one. A lot of the outer mid layers or outer layers I do like a hood. I find that they just tend to be a little more useful flipping them on if you're glassing, that sort of thing, rather than having to dig a beanie out of your pack. But I do like the beanie as well, especially the tag cuff beanie from First Lite. But this one here, you can see, is you've got the grid material, the grid fleece inside. To me, it's a little bit warmer, and it does a better job of wind protection. Obviously, merino isn't really great at wind protection. The wind goes right through it. So if you're dealing with any kind of winds, I like to put this as the next piece over the top of my merino pieces, because it does a better job of cutting the wind. And it is actually warmer, in my opinion. The downside to the grid fleece is if you're hiking, if you're trying to get up the hill, this just flat doesn't breathe as well as the merino. Not many materials do. So that's the downside to this. This is something I like to grab if I'm getting somewhere, needing to sit down and you're cooling off a little bit, or you're done hiking, throw this on. And there's a little bit of a breeze, that sort of thing. This is one of my go-to pieces for that scenario. But it's very warm for its weight, and it fits really well. And again, something you layer over the top of the kiln here, or your wick, your base layer, depending on what the situation is. But another one of my favorite pieces that I really like to use, especially in early archery, and as you get into later September, early October, it's one of my go-to pieces. So next up, let's look at the furnace. All right, last up, we're going to look at the First Lite furnace here. This is, again, size large. It is the EXP 350. So this is 350 grams per square inch of material, or the material, that's the material weight. I'll put, again, the weight of this garment in size large in the text there for you, so you can see the difference in the weight between these different pieces. But this is just a really warm, it's a higher loft knit material with it's again Merino X, so 95% merino, 5% spandex, same as the kiln. What that does is it keeps the body of the garment shaped properly without having too much sag as you wash it and use it more often. But that's what that spandex gives it a real good stretch, and it's not going to lose the shape that you like and start sagging the material, stretching out, that sort of thing. So it's designed to, of course, go over and be one of the heavier. It's a heavier weight base layer, so it's designed to go over. So like right now I've got the wick on, and then I've got the kiln over the top of that, and it's designed to go over those on your colder days. There's just a lot of variations that you can use with this. If you're looking at the jacket layering video, I'll put a card there for the jacket layering video that we did. Just depending on how you want to layer underneath your insulating pieces, this is one of the pieces on your colder days, on your colder weather, that's going to be a good go-to piece for you. It's super warm. Again, it's merino, so it's not going to be your windbreaker by any stretch, but it's meant and designed to be a layering piece. It comes in, I believe, a couple of variations. This is the quarter zip, and just like all the First Lite stuff, you've got a nice collar here. It's just really, really soft as well. Soft, it's warm. It's got a pocket here, a chest pocket for you if you like to use those. But it's just really warm. It again has the thumb loops for you, so you can layer on top of this with some of your other your insulating pieces, your jacket, that sort of thing. As you can see, this is kind of one of my complaints, if you will, about the way that these have an extra material here on the thumb loops. When you get 2, 3, 4 layers here, you get a little bit extra material here on the arms. And again, it just takes a second to kind of organize that and sort it out. And it fits perfect with those thumb loops on. The length is perfect for me. It's when you pull those off, you got just that extra length in there that I don't need personally, but obviously that's going to be a person-to-person kind of a preference thing, but not a huge deal, but just something to be aware of. All right, so there you have it. There's the primary pieces in the First Lite base layers that they offer. That's kind of the best uses that I personally found over the last several years of trying and testing different combinations and whatnot. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of idea of what you might use, what's going to be best for you out in the field. We sure do appreciate you following along, subscribing, and we will see you next time.